The problem with being an empath. So if you are an empath, you're probably aware you are, right? Where you have the ability to feel other people's emotions. You're sensitive to their thoughts, their ideas, their wants, their desires, and you feel almost the need or the urge to contribute and add value to their lives in some way, shape, or form to make them feel better, right? So essentially, as an empath, you tend to be a giver, right? You want to give value. You don't necessarily want to take, you want to give. And the problem is when you enter into relationships with people, whether they be on the level of just friendship or a dating relationship or more, maybe even a marriage, you will just naturally, as an empathetic person, you will want to give to that person. You will want to make them feel good. You will want to make them feel happy. You will want to make sure they don't feel sad. They don't feel neglected. You want to make sure they feel heard, right? If you have a conversation with that person, you might, try to address every bullet point that they talked about in that conversation. And the problem is, because you are an empath, you are a giver. Many times the people you get in a relationship will not be like you, right? They will not be empaths, right? Instead, they will be non-empaths. And many times, because they're non-empathetic, they will be not givers, but takers, right? They'll just like take. Oh, you're gonna give me this? Cool. Give me some more. Give me some more. Give me some more. And just take, and take. And really never give a whole lot back. They might give you a little bit back, but they won't give you a whole lot back. Like when you were having those conversations with them, or like almost every conversation you have with them where they're talking about some, chaotic event in their life going on right now, this craziness, and you're like addressing like each point verbatim and making sure that they know that you heard them and that you actually listened to them. You didn't just, okay, yeah, here you go. Here's my advice. No, you actually sat there and you listened to them, and you're giving them some really solid advice back, right? You're really taking some time to give them some like really good advice for free, for nothing, without expecting anything in return. And, whenever it comes to your turn, where you're having some major chaotic life event going on and you want to turn to them and lean on them a little bit, you will probably be disappointed, because you can lay out, not even the synopsis that they laid on you when they were having their event. You can lay out a very short version, because, as an empath, you don't want to bother them. You don't want to make them, you want to take up their whole day. You want to make sure you minimize this so they can, they can consume this very quickly and understand where you're coming from, and hopefully give you some advice in return. But even then, they're kind of like, oh yeah, what did you say again? What happened? I don't get it. And they're not really listening to you. And then you get disappointed, right? You feel like, wow, this person's selfish. Man, I give them like all this straight up advice and they're not reciprocating. Well, it's because they're not an empath, right? I mean, at the end of the day, they're not an empath. But beyond that too, to a certain degree, you're probably right? It's like they are a little selfish. Not that they're meaning to be selfish many times, but it's just that they're just caught up in their own life, right? They're not living in this kind of like heightened world of, sensory awareness like you are. So this is why some of the better relationships you'll have as an empath is with another empath, right? Or at least somebody who has some level of social awareness, right? And self-awareness for that matter. Because you notice with people who are non-empaths, there's really low self-awareness, right? And there's low social awareness. And they kind of do things that even other people are kind of like put off by, like, dude, why are you doing that? or hey, don't do that, right? And they're kind of like, what did I do? What I do? They can't figure it out, right? Even though other people can totally see it. So these are not the best people to be in relationships with, because you'll just frustrate yourself, and I consider myself an empath. I don't think I was born with this. I think I just developed it through years and years of going out and doing game and doing pickup and just seeing how I was making other people feel, right? I used to be kind of a dick, and I shouldn't even laugh about that, but I look back on some of the things I've said to people in the past where I know it kind of hurt them, and I'm like, why did I say that? Why didn't I have more sympathy or whatever? And then, especially when I start doing like pickup in game and just seeing like why certain things worked and why other things didn't work, I started to just be able to like really tap into the other person's emotions and feel what they were feeling, right? And almost to the point of being able to read their mind and their thoughts before they even thought it. It's crazy, but once you just kind of get over your own like self, and you get over your own just cloud of arrogance and ego protection and the need to be right about everything and me, and you start making about the other person, you will naturally become empathetic, right? You will become sensitive to that person's needs and understanding where that person is coming from, even if they're hating on you, even if they're throwing shade at you. You'll understand like why they're doing it, right? And again, a lot of it, almost 100% of it always comes back to ego protection, right? Which really stems from childhood trauma, right? It just stems from neglect as a child. Like they were neglected by their parents in, a certain area of their social development where they just never fixed this, and they're almost just like narcissistic 12-year-olds that never grew out of that. Me, my wants. No, he hurt me. I have to hurt him. As they say, hurt people hurt people. Ever hear that? Hurt people hurt people. Okay? Or, as they say in the karmic universe, how you treat me is your karma. How I treat you is my karma. Right? And this is why I don't throw shade at people who throw shade at me. Or people who troll me. I don't really try to troll them back or anything. Unless I feel like it. If I'm in field, I'll do it. Right? But if it's like online, whatever, I don't really respond to haters in my comments or anything like that. I don't, unless I want to poke fun at them, but I just, 99% of the time, I don't even bother. Because again, how you treat me is your karma. How I treat you is mine. I treat everybody with respect and positivity. I don't purposely go out there and look to try to bash people I don't know, or try to provoke arguments with strangers, or try to make fun of somebody walking by that I've never met in my life. I don't do stuff like that because I wouldn't want that done to me. I wouldn't want that done to like a family member or somebody I care about, or a friend of mine, or a student. I don't like seeing that, right? And I always live by the saying, be the change you want to see in the world. Don't just talk the talk, walk the walk, right? And this is why I can't stand the left, because they do a whole lot of talking, but they don't do a whole lot of walking. It's just talk, but no walk, right? Or anybody for that matter. People on the right do that too sometimes. But regardless, I don't like to treat other people how I would not like to be treated. So when I see somebody out there, like say, for that example, throwing shade, right? When somebody throws shade at you, for example, do you think that person throwing shade at you would want to be treated like that? Or anybody who's throwing shade at me? Do you think those people would appreciate somebody just throwing shade at them randomly and then trying to justify it like, no, but they're wrong about this. No, I don't like the point that he made, And it's like, well, then why don't you just reach out and say, I don't like that point. Why don't we debate it? Why do you have to do this dumb video like expose? Oh, so you could ride on the coattails of his traffic because he has a bigger following. Oh, that's why. In any case, as an empath, you will tend to be a giver, right? And you will tend to just kind of overcompensate for other people's lack of social self-development, right? It's like, okay, this person has a big ego. This person's like retarded and immature and, arrogant and can't see the forest through the trees. So I have to, because I'm an empath, I have to compensate for that and, be nice to this person. And it sucks because a lot of empaths will do that, right? I don't. I just ignore the person. I'm just numb to it. But a lot of empaths will. They'll go the extra mile, like, oh, I know where that person's coming from. And, sometimes the best medicine is just to let the person figure it out for themselves, right? You can't change people. You have to let them change themselves. Either way, it's not always fun, right? It's not always fun being an empath if you can sense what other people are feeling and thinking. It's almost like you feel like you're given this job to have to compensate for everybody else's social inadequacies, right? And that's not your job, right? You should just live your life and, use your superpower, because being an empath really is a superpower, right? You could just feel what other people are feeling, and that means you can give them what they want. That's why I've been so successful, like with game, especially in the last decade, is because I feel like I know exactly what this person wants. I know what they want to hear. I know what they want to think. I know what they want to feel. And I can just deliver that to them, right? A lot of empaths become really successful business owners because they're able to create their product, their marketing, their packaging exactly how the market would want it, how they would want it delivered, how they would want to see it. You just deliver it that way. It's really as simple as that. Whereas where most people are non-empaths, where they stumble is, again, they let their own insecurities, their own fears, eat them alive. Just get in their way, right? It's their own inability to just let go of their ego and let go of their arrogance, which keeps them from attaining the superpower of being an empath. Okay, and again, it is a superpower, in my opinion, right? It's, I can't think of anything else that is more powerful than being an empath, right? It does suck at times because sometimes, it's like sensory overload. It's hard to block out what everybody's thinking. It's like you could just almost like read everyone's mind around you, especially if you're in a busy place, a busy environment. It's like, oh my God, stop. You just want to turn it off, but you can't, right? You can't. You just feel it, You just feel it. But it's pretty amazing. It's a pretty amazing skill to just be able to look at somebody and look at their eyes for a few seconds and just be able to read them. Right? Or look at something they're wearing and be able to tell a whole lot about them. Right? And it's not like you're making judgment, like, oh, I judge you, because judgments are coming from ego, right? It's a different story when you're an empath, because when you're an empath and you're reading somebody, many of your assumptions about that person will tend to be correct, spot on, right? Spot on. So, you're able to listen to your intuition. You're able to trust your instincts, right? And you find that you're right most of the time too when you trust your instincts. Like, oh man, I was right about this again and again and again. Whereas when you're not an empath and you're just kind of like just living by, in this 24/7 ego protection mode. Don't you mess with me? Ooh, don't you say anything that I don't like? Don't you microaggression me? You'll never see beyond the surface. Right? You can't see anything beyond the surface, and you'll constantly just judge a book by its cover without even, being able to you won't have that ability to read people, which is a gift. It is a gift. But as always, drop your comments below if you are an empath. Let me know if you are, or if you don't think you are. Drop your comments below, or if you have any questions, share them with the tribe down below in the comments. Always love to see you guys in my comments. I always love to read your comments, so drop those comments below. And for you guys who want to support my work and everything I'm doing here and all this education and red pill enlightenment I'm teaching you, hardcore truths about life without filtering myself at the risk of being canceled, right? Because a lot of what I talk about is not politically correct, but it's true. It's based on reality. It's based on observational reality. Best way to support my work is by becoming a premium subscriber of my premium Alpha Male Secrets channel, which I'm hosting on a private platform away from YouTube, and I'm doing that to protect my content from YouTube in the event they try to shut us down one day. They won't be able to because we'll be on this private platform that I'm paying for, right? And right now it's only $1 for the entire first month of premium Alpha Male Secrets content from me. So take advantage of it. Right now it's only $1 for the entire first 30 days. So take advantage of it, guys. It's the best way to support my work, and I would greatly appreciate it. So click the link below. It will take you over to my website where you can get signed up right now. It just takes 2 seconds. So do that now, and I'll see you in my next coaching video. I'm out.